Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I'm IWN, and this is your AEW Dynamite October the 12th, 2022 review. If you guys just now tuning in, you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for all notifications so you don't miss a single review or watch along that goes live each and every single week here on the channel. I was live with my AEW Dynamite watch along earlier tonight. This week's episode of Dynamite was great. We got the return of Shawn Spears. We got Daniel Garcia turning on Daniel Bryan. I don't know why he would do that. That was his idol he turned on, just so you guys know. And we got a new AEW All-Atlantic champion, Orange Cassidy. Before we get started here with the AEW Dynamite review, again, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell for all notifications. Also, follow me on Facebook, follow me on Instagram, you got me on Snapchat. Links to all my accounts are in the description below. I hope everybody had a good Wednesday evening. And I hope everybody enjoyed their time here with me in the live chat for Dynamite episode 41. We're going to go ahead and get started with the review. I'm not going to waste anybody's time here. So, the night opened up. It opened up with Renee Young walking onto the stage to a good ovation and introduced herself. Renee Young introduced Canada's own Christian Cage, who walked into the stage with his arm in a sling. Renee asked how it felt to be in Toronto. Christian said it felt great to be there. Had to check to make sure my mic was on, because sometimes it'll be off when I'm talking and stuff. Sometimes it'll be on. So Cage said it felt great to be there. He called himself the face of Toronto and the entire country of Canada. Cage guaranteed victory for Luchasaurus. He said it wasn't just a guarantee. It was just like guaranteeing Toronto Maple Leafs would lose in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Cage introduced Luchasaurus, who headed to the ring. Jungle Boy Jack Perry made his entrance while Cage joined the broadcast team. We got Luchasaurus versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. Perry dropkicked Luchasaurus once the bell rings to start the match. Luchasaurus quickly took offense control and took the match to ringside. Cage stated on commentary that he won over Luchasaurus by simply telling him the truth. Luchasaurus set up a table on the floor. Luchasaurus set up a powerbomb, but Perry slipped away. Luchasaurus shoved Perry's back, which had tape on it, into the ring post. Luchasaurus tried to chop Perry, who moved, causing Luchasaurus to hit the ring post. Luchasaurus regained control and ran Perry into the ringside barricade, pretty much. Luchasaurus slammed Perry onto the ring apron, heading into a picture-in-picture break. That was the first commercial break of AEW Dynamite, just so you guys know. Luchasaurus was at ringside next to the table he set up earlier. Perry dove through the ropes and tried to send him through the table, but Luchasaurus caught him. Perry freed himself and sold back pain. He went for a move on the apron. Perry eventually dived over the ropes into the sunset bomb that drove Luchasaurus through the table on the floor. Now, Luchasaurus, a sunset bomb that dropped Luchasaurus to the floor, that was a good spot right there. That was fantastic. You want to talk about moments, man. That was a moment right there. That had the crowd on its feet after that. That had the crowd appalling. Jungle Boy did. Christian Cage left the broadcast table and headed toward the ring. Perry threw Luchasaurus back inside the ring and then spotted Cage. Luchasaurus set up in the ring. Perry returned and threw super kicks at him. Luchasaurus came back with a clothesline that turned Perry inside out. Luchasaurus slammed Perry to the mat. It covered him for a 2 count. Luchasaurus placed Perry on the top turnbuckle. It then joined him on the top rope. Perry slipped between his legs and crouched him on the top rope. Perry stood behind Luchasaurus on the top rope and threw punches at him. Then tied him up in the Tree of Woe. Jungle Boy backed up and charged Luchasaurus, who caught Perry and slammed him to the mat using his legs. A short time later, folks, Perry spiked Luchasaurus' head on the mat and then picked up a good near fall. Perry went for a snare trap, but Luchasaurus crawled to the ropes and broke the hold. Perry tried to pull Luchasaurus off the ropes, but Cage grabbed Luchasaurus' hand to hold him in place. Jungle Boy left the ring to go after Cage. Referee Rick Knox stopped him. Jungle Boy went up top. The Luchasaurus recovered and slammed him to the mat. There is something in my eye. I don't know what it is, but I'm feeling it. It's not feeling right. Jungle Boy went up top. Luchasaurus recovered, slammed him to the mat. Luchasaurus hit his cutthroat. He hit his cutthroat finisher and scored the pin. So then backstage, Renee Young attempted to interview Ethan Page, Stokely Hathaway, and Josh. Matt Hardy, Private Party, showed up. Hathaway said he purchased the Private Party contracts. Hardy got upset. Ethan Page said that if Hardy believes in Private Party, he should let them fight their own battles. Page challenged Isaiah Cassidy to a match with the stipulation that Private Party would be contractually free if Cassidy won, but the firm would get Hardy's contract if he loses, pretty much. Hardy was apprehensive, but he accepted the terms. So this was a very, very good pay-per-view caliber match to start the match. And I'm talking about the match between Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. They worked really well together. And I really do. I don't know if you guys do, but myself, I look forward to seeing future matches from the former tag team partners. Cage did a good job of healing on the Toronto crowd to turn them against him and Luchasaurus as much as he could. The segment that followed had much going on, and they really rushed into stipulation. Now, QT Marshall, Nick Comoroto, Aaron Solo were in the ring coming out of the break. Marshall mocked the Warjoe name for Wardlow and Samoa Joe, who then made their entrance. We have Wardlow and Samoa Joe versus QT Marshall and Nick Comoroto with Aaron Solo at ringside in a huge 2-on-2 man tag team match. Those are four of the powerhouses in the AEW division, man, over there. They got more powerhouses like Powerhouse Hobbs, Luchasaurus, Lance Archer, Brian Cage. They got a lot of powerhouses over there. Satnam Singh. Jeez Louise. So this was a good tag team match for Wardlow and Samoa Joe, to be honest. Marshall shoved Solo at the babyfaces to start the match. Joe put Comoroto down, and then Wardlow hit him with a swanton bomb. Joe applied the Coquina clutch and got the submission win. After the match, Wardlow powerbombed Marshall as he was setting up for a second. He was interrupted by Prince Nana, Brian Cage, Cohen, and Toa Lina, I guess, walking out. Donna accused Wardlow and Joe of sticking their noses where they don't belong. Cage took the mic and complained that Wardlow and Joe stuck their nose in their business when they had FTR right where they wanted them. Cage said he hadn't seen FTR all day and that he wouldn't even let them in Canada if they were up to him. FTR's Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler made their entrance with all of the tag team titles. I just want to throw out there all them tag team title belts they got. All those titles certainly make them the greatest tag team in the pro wrestling industry. But anyways, he picked it up. Then FTR joined Wardlow and Joe inside the ring while the heels stayed on the floor. A loud FTR, FTR chants broke out. I was thinking we were going to get drowsy chants. No, I'm just kidding. Harwood said there were members of the Embassy. He said that Wardlow and Joe just had a hard-fought match. So they had the perfect tag team partner and introduced Shawn Spears. We got the returns. He used to be the perfect 10. He used to have that perfect 10 gimmick in WWE. He was known for having that on SmackDown. So we got the return of Shawn Spears, his entrance. And noted that pretty much Spears was from Ontario. That was his hometown. So Spears threw Solo inside the ring where FTR put down with their big rig finisher. So we can now say that Shawn Spears is back face for now, at least temporarily. He was independent with FTR. Used to be, should I say. So I guess that's the connection there. Now, everybody that's watching the stream, you shouldn't be surprised, and I certainly won't be surprised if Spears stays heel for a long time. Legitimately. Now, backstage, Tony Khan interviewed Chris Jericho, Angelo Parker, and Matt Menard. They blamed Bryan Danielson for trying to steal Daniel Garcia from Jericho Appreciation Society. Jericho said he felt bad about taking out Garcia last week and had tried to reach him all week. Jericho said he would be in Lionheart mode when he faced Daniel Bryan later in the show. Jericho's got all kinds of gimmicks in AEW, man. For all I know, he probably has like 4 now. Swerve Strickland made his entrance. Billy Gunn made his entrance along with the acclaimed Matt Caster and Anthony Bowens. Caster wrapped the trio to the ring. We got Swerve Strickland versus Billy Gunn with Matt Caster and Anthony Bowens at ringside. Matt Caster and Anthony Bowens did not stay at ringside. The crowd sang, "Oh, scissor me, daddy," once the bell rang to start the match. Gunn waited until they were finished so he could get cheered for removing his t-shirt. Gunn teased dropping his trunks. Strickland dropkicked Gunn's knee, heading into a pipe break. By the way, "Oh, scissor me, daddy," that doesn't sound right. That doesn't sound right to me. That sounds negative to me, by the way. That sounds negative. I don't know why they would have the crowd say that. I don't know why they would legitimately even have the fans say that. Doesn't sound right. Sound weird. Anyways, Strickland cut off Gunn's offense with a flatliner. Strickland went up top and performed a double stomp. Strickland played to the crowd and then covered Gunn, who kicked out at 2. So Gunn avoided Strickland's next move pretty much. But Strickland hooked him into what I call a pin and then wrapped his arm around one of his ropes while the referee made the 3 count. So basically, Swerve Strickland basically cheated and beat Billy Gunn. That's what he pretty much did there in his match against Billy. Now, Caster and Bowens returned to the ring after the match. They set up for a group scissors bit. They were interrupted by Mark Sterling. The guy who looks like Bobby Roode. Remember that guy? Yeah, that one. Mark Sterling walked onto the stage with Tony Nese. Sterling had Nese show off a certificate, I guess, for a trademark for scissoring. The Acclaimed and Gunn teased doing the scissors bit anyway. But Sterling threatened to sue them. Sterling said he had some ideas and was willing to work with the Acclaimed. In the meantime, scissor me, daddy, Nese, he says. Scissor me, daddy, Nese, he says. Now, I know what you all are thinking when he says that. I know. Trust me. I ain't thinking. I'm thinking about moving on from this. That's what I'm thinking about. Sterling said, Sterling and Nese scissored on the stage. Alex Marvez attempted to interview MJF. Stokely Holloway showed up before MJF could answer Marvez's questions about last week's MJF match. And the situation with William Regal. MJF threatened to fire Holloway. It told him to take his Carlton Banks looking ass out of his shop. Dang. He put Holloway on blast with that one. He said, take his Carlton. He says, take his Carlton Banks looking ass out of his shop. Dang. He legitimately put Holloway on lockdown with that one. You gotta admit. Holloway smiled and walked away. As if he enjoyed it. He enjoyed MJF getting on him. I don't know. Something's going to happen to MJF. The firm's going to end up turning on MJF, I'm telling you. Be prepared. Be on the lookout for the firm turning on MJF soon, folks, because it's going to happen, whether you like it or not. It's happening. It's happening. They're going to have MJF turning babyface. They might as well, since CM Punk ain't coming back anytime soon. He's going to be out for 9 months. Ain't no way Tony Khan bringing CM Punk back. Tony Khan might as well fire CM Punk. For that matter, since he done fired Ace Steel. MJF turned his attention to Regal. MJF said he and Regal had a dark past. He said he's sure that Regal can't remember it because he was up on his high horse. MJF said he didn't know if he was going to shake Wheeler Yuta's hand last week. He said he realized long ago that nice guys finish last. Hey, that's true in real life, though. For us, finish last. I mean, hey. MJF speaking fast again. MJF back at it again, man. For real. So MJF said he's sure that there are people in the locker room who don't like him, or a lot of people in the locker room that don't like him. there was one person in particular in real life in the locker room that I feel like they didn't like him, and that is CM Punk. But MJF went on to say they have no idea what it's like to be him. You don't like me? Tough shit, MJF said. You don't like me when I walk through the curtain. I don't like me either. Okay. To me. If he is a AEW World Champion, next week's Dynamite will isn't so he loves the job. Moxley said that brought him to Adam Hangman Page, which drew some. Yeah. I guess you could say Adam Hangman Page is back to being a heel again, pretty much. Now, hour two, it was hour two, and Hangman Page pretty much made his entrance and joined Moxley inside the ring. Page held his hand up. Moxley handed him the mic. Here, I'm on my headset and put my headsets on because I'm going to make myself look like a podcaster. Oh, man. Page told Moxley that he wanted him to say whatever he had to say about him to his face. Page then said Moxley said it all last week when he said Moxley respects who he is in the ring and as a person. Now, Page said he'd be lying if he didn't tell him that it meant the world to him. Page said he's watched Moxley the last, I'd say, 3 years, and he's come to respect who he is inside and outside the ring. Page said Moxley is a hell of a champion, a hell of a husband, and a hell of a father. MJF was shown seated in a luxury box with his AEW Casino ladder match chip. Yeah, I seen him up there shining like he all that, like he got a lot of money. He probably does got a lot of money though. He probably is rich though. Page said Moxley shattered the illusions he had when Moxley called him a nice kid. See how I'm being creative with my headsets on? Look at this. Look at this, man. I legitimately look like a gamer just playing the game while I'm reviewing AEW Dynamite. Would you guys like to see me play the game while I'm reviewing Dynamite? Would you guys like to see that? For real? Or would you guys rather see me with headsets on and review Dynamite and other reviews every week? I don't know. That's just my question to you all. But anyways, continuing on with the Dynamite review here. Page asked if that's how Moxley feels about him when Moxley called him a kid. That's exactly what I think about you, Moxley responded. I don't think you are the same guy who knocked me off a 20-foot ladder 1 year ago. That was one of the hardest hitters. That was one of the legit hard-hitting matches. That's what I was trying to say. It's one of the hard-hitting matches ever, man. And to think that Page was the same guy that knocked Jon Moxley off of a 20-foot ladder. Wow, that sounds like history making right there, man. History making at its finest. Makes me wonder how many fans were in attendance for that match where Page knocked Jon Moxley off of a 20-foot ladder 1 year ago. Probably 100 million. I don't know. So next week in Cincinnati, if you get the shot to take me out, I don't think you've got it in your guts to pull the trigger, Moxley says. And then Page said, he may not be the same guy he was last year. He said he hesitated in May and it cost him the championship. He also said he went to the trios tournament final with his best friends and they failed. He said he's had to watch week after week as his friends disappeared. And then he said his old friends have disappeared. Page said he's not the same man. He's angry, frustrated. He said he's still here because he is a man. Page said he's 31 years old and has been an AEW Tag Team Champion, an AEW World Champion. He said he's watched his family members be lowered into the ground and he's brought new life into the world just as Moxley did. Page said he's a husband, a father, and he's been choked until his face turned blue and beaten in the face over and over again. Page punched himself several times while saying he keeps coming back. MJF was shown eating popcorn and nodding along. Page said he knows what he has to do in Cincinnati. He doesn't care if Moxley has family in the crowd. Sounds like heel Adam Heyman Page to me. That's something a heel would say. Legitimately. Page said he will beat Moxley within an inch of his life to take back the title he never should have let slip away. Page said the only things he has left are his shot and his word. He said he gets his shot next Tuesday, and he gave his word that he would be the next AEW World Champion. Page said that unlike MJF, he wanted to come out and tell MJF face-to-face, man-to-man. Page started to leave the ring, and then Moxley teased going after him, which caused Page to stop for a moment and watch Moxley as he exited the ring. Taz hyped the AEW World Championship match for next Tuesday. So, as far as I've seen on Dynamite while I was live on my Dynamite watch along, I can go on the record and honestly say that this was not just a good promo segment, but it was one of the best promo segments on this show. I mean, let's be honest. Page showed more fire and poise during the promo than I recall seeing from him. There were times when his wording was a little off. You guys know what I mean. But the passion he showed more than made up for it. So this was a very, very great promo segment from these two guys, man. From both Jon Moxley and Page. The package aired on the Ring of Honor World Championship match. It featured footage of Bryan Danielson from his days in Ring of Honor, along with current footage. Now listen to this, guys. This is where it starts to get interesting. Jericho said it's been 5 years since he wrestled in Canada, and he expected a hero's welcome. Entrances for that match took place. Jericho came out with Matt Menard and Angelo Parker. Cool Hand Man and Daddy Magic. Angelo entered the White Zombie's electric head rather than Julius due to being in Lionheart mode. They got Jericho, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker at ringside versus Daniel Bryan for the Ring World Championship. This is where it's going to have some of you shocked. So, William Regal and Land sat in on commentary. William Regal, Rika Bunny sat on commentary. Danielson knocked Jericho's hand away when he offered a handshake. The crowd sang Judas on their own since they didn't get to sing it during Jericho's entrance. Now, funny, Jericho performed a Hurricane Rana that pulled Danielson from the top rope, heading into a pipe break. You know what I mean? PIP stands for picture-in-picture break. Jericho sent Danielson to ringside and then jumped onto the middle rope and leaped over the top rope and on to Danielson at ringside. Danielson came back with a butterfly suplex and applied the label lock. Jericho escaped and applied the walls of Jericho. Danielson slipped out of the hold and then threw punches at Jericho. Danielson put Jericho into a code breaker. He did that. Then in an inside cradle for a 2 count. So then Danielson dropped Jericho with a kick, covered him for a 2 count. This is awesome chants broke out from the huge crowd in the arena in Canada. Danielson threw elbows to the side of Chris Jericho's head. Jericho hoisted up Danielson and slammed him to the mat before covering him for a 2 count. Danielson avoided a lion salt. Jericho sold knee pain. Danielson hit Jericho with back-to-back leaping knees from the ropes. Danielson leaped from the ropes a 3rd time. Jericho hit him with a code breaker on the way down for a good near fall. Moments later, Jericho shoved Danielson into a referee, Paul Turner. Bump. Danielson clothesline Jericho. Men stayed down on the mat. Matt Menard slide the Ring of Honor title belt to Jericho. Taz said it looked like it was sports entertainment stuff. Jericho motioned. He motioned for Danielson to stand up. Danielson pulled himself up by the ropes. Daniel Garcia ran out and took the Ring of Honor title belt away from Jericho. The crowd booed. Jericho shoved Garcia, who shoved him back. Danielson delivered a knee to the head of Jericho, and Garcia ran over and hit Danielson with the title belt. That shocked a lot of fans, man. That broke a lot of hearts in that arena. You can best believe that. Parker rolled the referee back inside the ring. Jericho covered Danielson and got the pin. Excalibur said there was once again a black cloud hanging over the name of Honor. And that's Daniel Garcia being controlled and being taken advantage of, manipulated by Chris Jericho. Controlling the mind of Daniel Garcia. William Regal, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta headed to the ring, causing the Jericho Appreciation Society members to go to ringside. Jericho kissed Garcia on the cheek, and that was pretty much it. So this was a very, very good match with what I guess is supposed to be a sports entertainment finish. It was a silly finish, and that Garcia could have simply let Jericho hit Danielson with the title belt rather than taking it from him. Garcia rejoining Jericho Appreciation Society did nothing. It did nothing. But we'll have to wait for explanation. The entire promise of JAS, Soulfing Sports Entertainment Field, dated at this point. But Garcia rejoining the faction seems to indicate that it won't be going away anytime soon. Young interviewed Nyla Rose, Vic Guerrero, and Marina Shafir. Nyla Rose had the TBS title around her waist. Anna Jay Show challenged her to face her for the belt on Friday's Rampage. Rose told her to show up on Rampage, and she whooped her tail. Entrances for the tag team match were televised. We got the interim AEW Women's Champion, Toni Storm, Harlem Shida versus Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter, with Rebuild at ringside. Storm was isolated by the heel duo heading into an early picture-in-picture break. So Shida worked over Britt Baker with punches in the corner coming out of the break. Hayter tried to help, but Shida superplexed her. Shida followed up by suplexing Baker onto Hayter. The crowd chanted for Shida, who performed a middle rope ADR on Baker for a near fall. Hayter took out Shida with Storm, put Hayter down with a bulldog. Baker put Storm down with a neck breaker. Baker got her glove from Rebuild. Shida threw punches at both heels. They put her down with a double super kick. Baker performed a stomp on Shida. Had her pinned. But Storm returned to break up the pin. Storm put Baker down with a power driver, and then Shida covered her. Hayter returned and shoved Storm into the pin to break it up. Shida took out Hayter with a kick. Baker caught Shida in an inside cradle for a 2 count. Baker went for a lockjaw, but Shida caught her in a pin for a 2 count. Shida performed a twisting slam, and then they took turns reversing pin attempts, and it ended with Shida on top for the 3 count. Now, after the match, Shida pretty much had some blood on her teeth. She shook hands with Storm. Are they building up Shida for a title shot? It feels like Storm is in a tag team match on a near weekly basis, and the focus ends up being more on her partner or her opponents. That's just me. That's just me asking that question. I'm telling you, sooner or later, AEW is going to turn Shida heel. They really are. Shida's going heel soon. I'm telling you. Shida is going to get the best heel run in her career. She's going to be a top heel. I've said it since day one. Shida is going to be turned heel. She's going to be a top heel in the AEW women's division. Very, very soon. I can't see her staying babyface for long. I just can't see it. Escalade Bar announced Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli versus the Butcher and the Blade for AEW Rampage. Now, the Butcher and the Blade and the Bunny delivered a brief backstage promo. Escalator hyped PAC versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship as the main event coming up after a break. So ring announcer Justin Roberts stood in the ring and introduced the participants in the main event match. We got PAC versus Orange Cassidy for the AEW All-Atlantic Championship. PAC ducked Cassidy, throwing an orange punch to start the match. Cassidy ended up on his knees and put his hands in his pockets. PAC taunted him by doing light. Cassidy stood up, drop kicked him to ringside. Cassidy went for a suicide dive, but PAC caught him and sent him to the mat. Escalator played up Cassidy, landing on the arm he uses to throw the orange punch. They cut to the final picture-in-picture break of the evening. So then, when they came back from the break, when they actually came back from break, PAC dominated the action throughout the commentary, throughout the commercial break. That's what I was trying to say. I wasn't trying to say commentary. But PAC dominated the commercial break, performed a tombstone power drive on the Cassidy rolled down the ramp to get back to ringside and held his neck. Cassidy dove into the ring to the referee's count. PAC put him in the brutalizer, but Cassidy reached the rope with his foot to break and the rope reached was the bottom rope. Escalator went into auditioner. He went into auditioneer mode while hyping matches for Rampage and Dynamite. Sure enough, Storm is defending the AEW Women's Championship the next week. In the ring, Cassidy had a burst of offense and DDT'd PAC on the floor. And again in the ring, Cassidy hit the orange punch and got a near fall. And he got a "This is awesome" chant from fans again in the arena. Cassidy went up top. PAC rolled under the bottom rope. Cassidy smirked and then dropped the middle rope and jumped towards PAC, who kicked him. Kicked him so hard that Cassidy could barely even get up. Cassidy came right back and went for another orange punch. But PAC stuffed it and suplexed him. PAC applied the brutalizer. Cassidy rolled onto PAC and reached the ropes to break the hold with his feet. PAC, who had some blood on his shoulder, rolled to ringside and tried to grab his title belt. A masked man stopped him. And guess who that masked man was? Danhausen. He cursed PAC, who punched him out. PAC brought the ring bell back to the ring with him before he could use it. Cassidy picked up the ring bell hammer and eventually gave it to the referee. PAC rolled up Cassidy for a 2 count. Cassidy hit the orange punch. Cassidy backed up and hit another orange punch and scored the pin to become the new AEW All-Atlantic Champion. After the match, Tremperetta, Chuck Taylor joined Cassidy in the ring. Orange confetti shot off, and then the trio had a group hug, giving the fans, well, always giving the fans what they want, of course. Of course, best friends and Orange Cassidy are going to get the fans what they want. They do it every week. Twice as nice, though. Adelaide Bar hyped Rampage and Dynamite to close the show. So this was a fun main event. It was still great. The match was entertaining in spite of it. I don't know people still care about the All-Atlantic Championship or not, but Excalibur also noted that this was the first title that Cassidy won in AEW. Now, the 2 hours did go by a little bit, but the show featured some good segments, good usual in-ring work. It was fun to see AEW playing to a lively crowd that was on par with some of AEW's most enthusiastic crowds. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for your AEW Dynamite October of 2022 review. Now, if you guys enjoyed the review, hit the thumbs up, please. I would really appreciate it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your WWE and AEW Wednesday night news. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start with the news on USA Network. So apparently, USA Network is reportedly happy about Brock Lesnar's Monday Night Raw return. That's what my sources confirmed today. So this is not fake news. This is actual news. This is real. This is no make-believe. So yes, apparently USA Network was, in fact, really, really happy about Brock Lesnar's WWE Raw return. After an epic close to Extreme Rules 2022, fans were expecting something big to take place the following week on Monday Night Raw. Now, given that it was the Red Brand's season premiere, fans were expecting something special to take place, I guess. Ticket sales also increased following Bray Wyatt's return to Extreme Rules, indicating that everyone was waiting for Bray Wyatt to be involved in the show. However, Bray Wyatt wasn't present. He wasn't present at the show. Instead, it was Brock Lesnar who made his WWE return to confront and destroy Bobby Lashley, costing him his United States Championship in the process. According to Andrew Zarian on Twitter, it seems like both WWE and USA Network are very happy with Brock Lesnar's return. And Bray Wyatt already has a brand in place for him to be in, which is SmackDown. Bray Wyatt will be on SmackDown. He will be on the SmackDown men's roster for the foreseeable future. Now, as here and I quote, oh, and by the way, before I read what they said, I even gave you the news on WWE finally deciding what brand Bray Wyatt will be on, which is SmackDown. Just thought I'd throw that out there. And we went over that earlier on the AEW Dark watch-along earlier that afternoon. It says here, and I quote, USA Network and WWE are both very happy with the direction of Raw. Lesnar returning on the show felt like a make good to many at USA for not having Bray on Raw following the buzz from Extreme Rules. End quote. From the looks of what transpired on Raw this week, looks as if WWE is planning a match between Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley for Crown Jewel. Meanwhile, Bray Wyatt is set to return to WWE television this Friday on SmackDown. And I will be scheduling my Friday Night SmackDown watch along. Matter of fact, we're going to get started on the SmackDown watch along. And as soon as I end the AEW Dynamite stream, I'm going to get started on the SmackDown thumbnail and background for SmackDown, for the SmackDown watch along, and then I'm going to schedule it. And then I'll be done. I'll be done from there. Schedule the SmackDown and Rampage watch alongs combined. I'll be live for both SmackDown and Rampage, just like I was the last Friday night. Now, this could result in another spike in viewership. Very well could. The tweets show the viewerships for Monday Night Raw right now. I'm looking at them in front of my eyes. Those are some high viewerships, man, for Monday Night Raw. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of viewership numbers. Are you guys excited to see Bray Wyatt on SmackDown this week? I am. He is one of the greatest creative minds. He has one of the greatest creative minds in WWE. Great at what he does in the ring. Great with his character gimmicks. Even though I hate the fact that Vince ruined the Fiend to where now Bray Wyatt can't use his Fiend gimmick anymore. Because Bray Wyatt felt embarrassed because of Vince. Because of how Vince wasted him on TV and buried him. Kept him inside his camera until he was released. Released because he was overweight. Released because of budget cuts. Ridiculous. That's insane. And it's not nice to be releasing somebody because they're overweight. That's not right. That's just mean as hell. It really is. Mean as fuck, man. Anyways, moving on to some news on the NXT viewership. First, we're going to go over the news on Tony Khan, giving huge credit, and that's what he apparently did. He gave huge credit to Triple H for improving WWE. So it says here, for many fans and pro wrestlers, Triple H is a pioneer in the world of professional wrestling. After accomplishing a lot as a pro wrestler, he became the brains behind NXT's black and gold brand. And he was even in charge of the black and gold brand as well. He was legitimately in charge of NXT. He was. Vince McMahon was forced to retire and step down from his position as WWE chairman. Good. Goodbye. We don't need Vince anymore. We don't need Vince anymore. Goodbye. We don't need him. Now, afterwards, Triple H was made the head of WWE Creative. This was truly what many fans wanted for years. Now, speaking with Ariel Helwani, or should I say Ariel Helwani, actually, because that's actually his last name. Tony Khan noted that he has noticed some significant improvements to the WWE product under Triple H and gave him credit for the same. Gave him props for the same. It says here, and I quote, that's what Tony Khan said, "I finally am always up for the challenge, and I think there have been elements that have seen a big improvement there. I've been open saying that. I think there's been a lot of improvements there. I finally think for us, we've had a lot of improvements too in recent weeks." He goes on to continue by saying, "I think we're both very competitive and have been competitive in the past, obviously. I think in this case now, hopefully it's going to be good for everybody. There's probably a bit more similarity of what we're looking for in terms of the profile of a free agent. So I think it's already going to start being a thing. So we'll see how this thing goes. We'll see how this goes." End quote. That's what Tony Khan says. Triple H also has some huge surprises planned for fans. Now, there are clearly a lot of changes taking place in the company right now, and fans are more than excited about it. So are you guys, everybody that's watching the live chat, are you guys glad about Triple H making changes? I know I am. I'll be the first one right here, right now, to tell you that I am absolutely glad that Triple H is making a lot of changes. WWE desperately needed some changes, especially when Vince and Bruce ruined WWE, buried and wasting young talents like Los Lotharios, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, Apollo Crews, Dolph Ziggler. Even wasted Shayna Baszler on television. Sonya Deville, Xia Li, Aleister Black was wasted in his time in WWE. Andrade was wasted in his time in WWE. Let's see, who else? Who else was wasted in their time, though? Bray Wyatt was wasted in his time in WWE as the Fiend. He was the Fiend gimmick. He got wasted. Mary, you seen how bad that match between him and Goldberg was? That was one of the worst matches on the Super Showdown card, man. That lost a lot of views because of that match. Because of Goldberg's. Goldberg's jackhammer was awful. It was awful. Even everybody in the community said that Goldberg's jackhammer was awful. It was one of the worst jackhammers I think I've ever seen. Legitimately. I'm glad that Bray Wyatt's back with a new gimmick. His new gimmick is Wyatt 6. I believe that's what it is. And Triple H is going to use him better than how Vince used Bray Wyatt. Which Vince didn't use Bray Wyatt right. Triple H is going to use him right. So, moving on to the last WWE Wednesday night news on NXT. So apparently NXT sees their viewership jumping up this week. In other words, the NXT viewership jumped up this week, and it says here that WWE NXT brought a pre-taped episode for fans this week. Brand is going through a lot of changes. So how did the viewership turn out as Halloween Havoc is right on the horizon? I still have my NXT Halloween Havoc watch-along schedule. It's been scheduled for a month now. I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to make some updates on the card in the description. I have to make some updates to my NXT Halloween Havoc watch-along that I got scheduled on my channel. According to WrestleDomics, the October 11th episode of NXT brought in an overnight average of 737,000 viewers with a .15 to 18.49 demographic. October 4th episode of NXT brought in an overnight average of 625,000 viewers with a .13 to 18.49 demographic. September the 27th episode of NXT brought in a viewership of 650,000 viewers with a .16 and the 18 to 49 demographics. September the 20th episode of NXT brought in an overnight average of 688,000 viewers with a .15 to 18.49 demographic. This was also a taped show. The 1-year anniversary of NXT 2.0 pulled in 728,000 viewers with a .15 to 18.49 demographic on September the 14th. The September the 6th episode of NXT brought in 684,000 viewers with a .16 to 18.49 demographic. The August 30th episode of NXT 2.0 brought in 676,000 viewers with a .15 to 18.49 demographic. NXT's August 3rd episode, August 23rd episode, that's what I was trying to say, brought in 678,000 viewers with a .14 to 18.49 demographic. August 16th, Heatwave Special brought in overnight average of 723,000 with a .18 in the treasured 1849 demographic. August the 9th episode of 30 NXT 2.0 brought in 597,000 viewers with a .13 in the 18-249 demographic. The August 2nd edition of 30 NXT 2.0 brought in 649,000 viewers with a .15 in the 1849 demographic. July 26th episode of NXT 2.0 brought in 600,000 viewers with a .13 18 to 49 demographic. In the coveted 18 to 49 demographic. July 19th episode of NXT 2.0 brought in 588,000 viewers with a .13 in 18.9 demographic. The July the 12th episode of 30 NXT 2.0 brought in an overnight average of 582,000 viewers with a .14 in the 1849 demographic. Great American Bash pulled in 590,000 viewers for their July the 5th special. They also raked in a .12 in the coveted 1849. We'll have to see how NXT continues on when it comes to viewership and rating. The NXT 2.0 change obviously hasn't broken any good records. I'll keep checking back with my sources, Ringside News, for more on the NXT, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown viewership. What's y'all's take on the story? Let me know. That's going to do it for your WWE Wednesday night news. Now we're going to go over your AEW Wednesday night news. So, first things first, there is some news on AEW Dynamite. So, apparently, AEW Dynamite is going head-to-head with NXT next week. And boy, oh boy, does that not shock me at all. I am not too surprised about that. So, AEW Dynamite says here it's usually a weekly Wednesday night show, but that will change next week. Of course, this will be a special airing, but AEW will go head-to-head with NXT once again. Due to the Major League Baseball playoffs, AEW Dynamite must air on a different date. They will still be a live show, but they had to change their day to Tuesday. AEW Dynamite rolls into Cincinnati, Ohio next week. Fans will gather on a Tuesday, and it's likely that a ton of them will show up to root for Jon Moxley, their hometown hero. So, we will have to see how NXT and AEW fare next week as they reignite some head-to-head competition. AEW is going to more than likely win over NXT. I mean, look how bad NXT's been doing as of late. They've been doing absolutely terrible. AEW here lately has been doing great. It's just their Dark and Elevation episodes haven't been so great. Now their Dynamite Rampage shows have been great, but not Dark and Elevation. Now Rampage has had some up and downs too. Dynamite hasn't. Dynamite's been doing great. Dynamite's doing the most. Dynamite is doing the most good out of Rampage, Dark, and Elevation. And out of Dynamite itself. Right now, as far as the AEW shows go, I feel like Dynamite is number 1, Rampage is number 2, Dark is number 3, and Elevation is number 4 at this point. So, I feel like Dynamite is winning over Rampage, Dark, and Elevation at this point. I can honestly 100% say that with certain, with my thinking skills, that AEW is winning over Rampage, AEW Rampage, Dark, and Elevation. And they're also even winning over NXT, Monday Night Raw, and SmackDown, shockingly. Shockingly to you all, but not shocking to me, of course. Now, moving on to this news on former WWE Tag Team wrestlers wrestling a AEW Dark Elevation match before Dynamite. So apparently that's what they did. And these wrestlers are none other than Sunil and Samir Singh, the Bollywood Boys. AEW's current roster is bloated with 2 and 3 person tag teams. But that doesn't mean Tony Khan has given up on signing new talent. Listen up, everybody that's watching the stream. It says here that Khan brought a former WWE tag team to work the latest set of Dark Elevation tapings. Former WWE stars Sunil and Samir Singh, who used to work in WWE under the ring name the Singh Brothers, made their AEW debut at Dark Elevation tapings. The duo will now go by the name of the Bollywood Boys, squared off against the Gunn Club, Austin Gunn and Colton Gunn, in a tag team action, but ended up on the losing side, unfortunately. They were buried. They were wasted. For what? Why? I don't know. The Bollywood Boys returned to the world of independent circuit following a 5-year WWE career. The brothers' real names were Gurvinder Shiram and Harvinder Shiram, who paired with Jinder Mahal during their time in WWE, during their time on SmackDown. Back when SmackDown was actually great. Back when I thought SmackDown was the A show, in my honest opinion. Now, what's y'all's take on this story? Sound off in the comments, please. Or actually, sound off in the live chats, because the live chats are still open for anybody who wants to comment, who wants to ask questions. Or you could even talk to everybody else that's watching the stream. Communicate. That's what I want, everybody to communicate with one another in live chats. Now, moving on to this news on Jon Moxley. So apparently Jon Moxley doesn't plan on leaving AEW anytime soon after signing a 5-year contract. We actually brought up the news on Jon Moxley's 5-year contract a few days ago. I think I had brought it up on my Elevation watch along, I think. I think I did. Don't know if I quite remember that. So, Jon Moxley joined AEW in 2019 after leaving WWE. I already told you guys that this week. And I might have told you that last week too. Since his arrival in AEW, Jon Moxley has been booked as one of the promotion's top guys. We know that. He has had feuds with and beaten everyone else in the company. Tony Khan even admitted that AEW would have been a challenge if it were for Jon Moxley. Hence, it should have come as no surprise when AEW World Champion Jon Moxley decided to renew his contract. Knew that. I talked about that this week. I talked about that this week on my watch-alongs and reviews. It was reported that Jon Moxley signed a 5-year contract with the company. No shit. You can't make this stuff up. He actually did. This is real news. It's not fake news. This is factual, positive information. In a recent interview with SI.com, Moxley addressed his future in AEW by saying that it's pretty much the best job in the world. So, this is what Moxley had to say, and I quote, "I don't plan on going anywhere else. It's the best job in the world, and I'm very lucky to have it." And then he goes on to say, in AEW, all I worry about is wrestling. That's my focus. And that's a joy. I love storytelling. I love promos. I love wrestling. I love coming up with ideas for other people. I love learning. For me, it's a perfect fit. I'm very excited about the future and what could possibly happen. And then he goes on to say, I have no idea what will happen. Just like I had no huffing idea what was going to happen in 2019. I can't wait for what's next, end quote. Jon Moxley recently won the AEW World Championship for the third time. Given the push he has been receiving since his arrival in AEW, it's no surprise that he doesn't plan on leaving the company anytime soon. Only time will tell if he changes his mind in 5 years. Now, there's some news on Powerhouse Hobbs, and it involves Jon Moxley. It mentions Jon Moxley's name. He calls out Jon Moxley, and apparently he's also coming from Jon Moxley's AEW World title after a successful and long run with Ricky Starks as part of Team Taz. Powerhouse Hobbs has finally broken free of the shackles that were holding him down. He is now coming into his own as a wrestler. That's very, very good to hear. And a dominant force to be reckoned with. You know, Powerhouse Hobbs reminds me of a Big E. He really does. Legitimately. I won't be surprised if Powerhouse Hobbs and Big E are legitimately the same size. After turning on Ricky Starks, Powerhouse Hobbs defeated the former champion at AEW, All Out. You know, former FTW champion, Ricky Starks. However, the feud wasn't one-sided as Ricky Starks defeated Powerhouse Hobbs on AEW Rampage, Grand Slam. I was live for the Grand Slam watch-along. I was live for the episode of Rampage Grand Slam. Recently, Powerhouse Hobbs was interviewed by Bill after. During the interview, when asked whether he has a message for Jon Moxley, Powerhouse Hobbs slated... No, he didn't slate it, I'm joking. He stated that he is coming for Jon Moxley's title. Moxley knows I'm coming after him. It says here, and I quote from Powerhouse Hobbs, I'm dangerous. I'm from the hood. I've had knives pulled on me. Been shot. Look at me. You think I would be scared of Moxley? Can you honestly say, you think I would be scared of Moxley? I know he's no scared of me. That's like Ali and Frazier. Tyson versus Holyfield. It could be bigger than Mayweather and Pacquiao. End quote. So that's what Powerhouse Hobbs had to say. So Jon Moxley, who is the current AEW World Champion, has a dominant run as of late in AEW. Rightfully so. He has taken all comers and emerged victorious in some of the most violent battles ever. While Powerhouse Hobbs has the strength advantage, he has never faced anyone like Jon Moxley who will go to any length to win a match. Whether AEW actually goes ahead and books the match is left to be seen. Now, there's some news on Paige Van Zandt. Pretty sure some of you know who she is. I know who she is myself. I've seen her wrestle on Dark Elevation and on Dynamite and Rampage recently. Paige Von Zandt apparently ditched her pro wrestling training after AEW match. Paige Van Zandt is a name to mix with people in the Octagon. Fighter switch from the UFC to the Squared Circle in AEW. And it looked like she was doing an excellent job at this transaction. Then she seemingly ghosted Tony Khan's company. Her coach, former WWE superstar, Jen Grill, trained her at Coastal Championship Wrestling Training Facility in Florida. She appeared in one match and has been out of the wrestling circuit afterward. Jen Grill talked about it on K&S WrestleFist about how Paige trained for some time at the facility. The former WWE superstar talked about how the former Octagon performer would have been a perfect fit for this sport. So she goes on to say, or she or he, whichever it is, goes on to say, and I quote, "Yes, I did train Van Zandt for a little while there. She did well. She didn't train as much as I would have liked for her to train. But I haven't seen her since that match. She did that match, she wrote me and said, hey, I'd like to go over there. I'd like to go over the match with you in some boutique. And I said, sure. And that's the last I heard from her. She's an athlete. She could have been really, really good at it, actually." End quote. So it was rumored that Paige Van Zandt was out as she was training for an August fight with Karis Sigala as part of the Bare Knuckle Fighting Champion promotion. This bout was pulled off at the last minute. There were rumors that the fight was rescheduled. Now the information confirms that the bout has been called off. Paige clarified that she didn't pull out from the bout, but was pulled out on her own. Okay. Anybody's thoughts on this? I guess nobody's going to comment. Moving on. So I got some news on Renee Young. And then I'm going to have some news on Shawn Spears. Then that'll be it. Shawn Spears is the last news I'm going to go over with you guys. The last AEW Wednesday night news. Even though it's Thursday now. So Renee Young makes her AEW debut. She made her AEW debut. Renee used to work in WWE under the ring name Renee Young. I'm still calling her Renee Young. I don't care what anybody in the community has. She conducted backstage interviews before Vince McMahon made her a play-by-play commentator. Renee Young left WWE and started her own podcast. She officially made her AEW Dynamite debut this week. Renee made her AEW debut in Toronto, Canada. MOXLEY welcomed her to the AEW broadcast team during the show's opening. Renee thanked the fans in attendance watching at home. She interviewed Christian Cage as part of her first on-screen assignment with AEW. Later on in the first half of the show, she appeared once again where she conducted a backstage interview. Renee Young's move to AEW was announced by Tony Khan during the day. Tony Khan took to Twitter ahead of Wednesday Night Dynamite, welcomed Renee Young to his promotion. AEW is a good fit for Renee Young. That's all I got to say to that. It makes sense for her to go to AEW since her husband's there. Just like Mia Yim. Just like what I said about Mia Yim. It makes sense for Mia Yim to go AEW. Now that her husband, Keith Lee, is currently there wrestling. Mia Yim is going to be all elite sooner rather than later. Oh, Tony, you better believe. You better bet your ass Tony Khan got his money on Mia Yim. Oh, he's got his eye on Mia Yim. Big time. And WWE still got their eyes on Konosuke. Konosuke has not. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's noticing this, but Konosuke has not been used on TV the last 4 weeks. We haven't seen him on TV 2 months. Konosuke could be on his way out, or he could be in Japan, being booked in matches. The virus could be spreading in Japan, and he's not able to make it back to AEW because of that. Who knows? You never know. So, the last news we got, the last AEW Wednesday night news we have is on Shawn Spears. So, Shawn Spears returned as a babyface during Dynamite this week. AEW made their big debut in Canada for Dynamite this week. This was a long time coming, and the live crowd was incredibly hot for the show. They were incredibly wild, crazy, and loud as fuck. That's all I got to say. They were loud, really loud. This was also the perfect time for a return. Shawn Spears has been out of action for a while. His wife, AC Lee, you know, that woman that used to be Peyton Royce in that faction known as the Merrick's. These Stuponics, the Idiotics, you know, that faction known as the Iconics. Yeah, that faction. Casey Lee is expecting their first child, so he was likely enjoying his time off. He made a return this week to save Wardlow and Samoa Joe. Joe. Turning baby faces in the process. Shawn Spears, music hits, in the live crowd, popped big time. He ran down as FTR and Wardlow needed his assistance to battle the heels. AEW's chairman sent Aaron Solo into the ring before FTR nailed a big rig. This is quite a change for Spears' character because he's been presented as a heel since his debut with the company. Since he was in the faction known as the Pinnacle, you know, the faction that was run by the leader, Jericho. He was the leader of that faction. Not MJF, Jericho. People are still to this day saying that MJF was the leader of the Pinnacle faction. Now, MJF was not the leader of the Pinnacle, you fucking geeks. Chris Jericho was the leader of the Pinnacle. The Pinnacle faction. Now, what is y'all's take on this story, on Shawn Spears' return? Let me know. And that's going to do it for your WWE and AEW Wednesday night news. I'm getting the heck out of here. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. Hit that thumbs up if you enjoyed the Dynamite watch along. You can go hit the thumbs up on my Dynamite watch along. It's still on the channel. And most importantly, hit the like button if you enjoyed the Dynamite review. And if you enjoyed, even if you enjoyed me giving you your WWE AEW Wednesday night news, which I try my best to do. I try my best when it comes to reviews and watch alongs. I really do. I'm not lying to you guys. And thank you to each and every single one of you that continues to show your overwhelming support for me and my channel. Continue to support me and my channel in a lot of ways possible. Any way you can. Keep on sharing my watch-alongs, my streams, my reviews, all that. So, oh, and there's plenty more content on that channel you can check out. Some people still say that my channel's trash, which is not. Clearly, I've gotten better with the channel. I've improved. I mean, how can people look at this channel and say that IWN hasn't improved. Come on, man. Come on, man. You gotta be a complete idiot at that point to be saying that I haven't improved. Come on. What is wrong with people in the community, man? In the wrestling community. What's wrong with people in the YouTube community these days? I don't get it. Anyways. I got a few announcements to make. First things first, my SmackDown Watch Along will be live this Friday night. For SmackDown, I'm going to go ahead and get started on the thumbnail right after I end the stream. As soon as I end the stream, I'm literally going to get started on the Friday SmackDown thumbnail. Roxanne Perez is going to be on it. LA Knight's going to be on it. Messoir, no. Bray Wyatt's going to be on it, definitely. Ronda Rousey, I don't know. I may just put a clown face to cover her face up. Huh. Really? Shouldn't even be on SmackDown. Shouldn't even be on WWE television. She should be back in UFC or somewhere. She should be at home taking care of her children and her husband. That's what she should be doing. Should be doing what Lacey Evans is doing. Back home you go, Ronda Rousey. Anyways, guys. On a serious note, I'm getting out of here. SmackDown Watch Along will be live this Friday night. SmackDown Rampage review will be live this Saturday afternoon. Both reviews will be live Saturday afternoon. They'll be combined. And I meant to say SmackDown Rampage Watch Along again. I said SmackDown Watch Along. I was meant to say SmackDown and Rampage. I will be live with your Saturday with your SmackDown and Rampage Watch Along. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm getting my thoughts mixed up. I'm getting my stuff mixed up now. So then, once I'm live with my SmackDown and Rampage Watch Along this Friday night, I'll be live with the SmackDown Rampage review this Saturday afternoon. And then I'm going to be live with your WWE and AEW Saturday Night News live stream, giving you guys your WWE and AEW Saturday Night News. And then I'll be live with your WWE and AEW Sunday Night News live stream, giving you your WWE and AEW Sunday Night News. Going into the beginning of the week. New content will be on the channel next week. This Tuesday afternoon, or next Tuesday afternoon, excuse me. See, here I go again, getting my stuff wrong. Next Tuesday afternoon, my Monday Night Raw review will be live. So it'll be a little quick. I'm going to make it quick. So I'm going to be back to doing Monday Night Raw reviews a little bit for now. Now, the only reason why I'm doing a Monday Night Raw review is because JD will not be live for this Monday Night Raw review. He will not be live with his NXT review either. I'm not reviewing NXT until NXT gets better. The NXT shows have been complete, utterly garbage. NXT needs to do better. Their shows have not been good. They've been boring to watch as a movie. Monday Night Raw is doing better than NXT right now. It's so bad, I still have yet to review NXT every week. Monday Night Raw, on the other hand, is doing a pretty good job over there. Triple H has made some very, very good decision changes over there, man. So, again, one last time, I'll remind you guys before I get out of here. SmackDown Rampage Watch Along this Friday night. This Saturday afternoon. Friday night SmackDown Rampage review will be live. And then Saturday night, the WWE and AEW news live stream will be live. I'll be giving you guys your WWE AEW Saturday night news. And then Sunday, the beginning of the week, I'll be live with your WWE AEW Sunday night news live stream, giving you your AEW WWE Sunday night news to start, to end the Sunday, and to start your Monday. So, and I'm going to start your Monday by reviewing Monday Night Raw. I'll be live when, or not Monday Night Raw, but I'll start your Monday with being live with your WWE and AEW news live stream, giving you your WWE and AEW Monday afternoon news. And then next Tuesday, I'll be live for your Monday Night Raw review, giving you guys my thoughts on next week's Monday Night Raw that's going to be coming on. Thoughts on everything that's going to happen on Monday Night Raw. Pretty much give you your AEW Tuesday afternoon news. I'm only going to have a little bit listed though. And then my Dynamite watch along will be scheduled for next Wednesday, and the review will be scheduled for Wednesday night as well to go with that. And my AEW Thursday afternoon news live stream will be next Thursday. I'll be giving you guys your AEW Thursday news. A lot more content will be streamed on the channel between this weekend and next week. And then Friday, I'll be live with yet another Friday Night SmackDown Rampage watch along. And then that should take us to that NXT Halloween Havoc pay-per-view. Not sure. Which I think will be next week. Yes, it's going to be next week. So that means I'm going to have to make my SmackDown Rampage review quick that Saturday afternoon, just so I'll have enough time to rest and be ready for NXT Halloween Havoc next Saturday night. Because that's going to be a hell of a fucking pay-per-view. It's going to be one of the best pay-per-views that NXT hasn't gotten. It's going to be one of the best NXT pay-per-views that we, as a fan base in the community, haven't gotten in a long ass time. Legitimately. It's going to be great to see NXT, to see amazing NXT TakeOver pay-per-views such as that one. And then I don't know what's for Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to do next Sunday. I don't know. I have no clue. Hell, I may just stream some games Sunday. I don't know. Or I may just go live with a AEW Sunday Night News live stream next Sunday night. But there is my YouTube schedule, folks, that I just went over with you guys. So I got a lot to do. And also this weekend, I'm going to be getting started on the Survivor Series thumbnail and background. I'm going to be scheduling Survivor Series and be punting the card in the description. It's probably going to be a predictions card. I don't know. I think it's going to be the actual card of what I think is going to be booked for Survivor Series. So the Survivor Series watch along will be scheduled early. It'll be scheduled for the day it comes on, which will be next month, I believe. I gotta look up and find out. If I find out when Survivor Series is, I'll let you guys know. Another thing, I gotta go ahead and get started early on the AEW Full Gear thumbnail and background for the Full Gear watch along and review. So I got a lot to do this year, this end of the year. But I'm going to get everything done. I'm going to get everything scheduled. I'm taking one day at a time. Taking my time, man. But if I'm really impatient and I don't want to wait, I'm going to get started on multiple things. Or just that one thing and just end it there. So lots of new content being streamed on the channel next week. That includes the Monday Night Raw review, Dynamite watch along review, AEW Thursday afternoon news live stream, and Friday SmackDown, Rampage, and the NXT Halloween Havoc watch along. So you have all that to look forward to. Plus my Survivor Series watch along and Full Gear watch along, AEW Full Gear. And then After November passes by, I'm going to start doing my Royal Rumble 2022 thumbnail for the Royal Rumble. No. The Royal Rumble 2023 thumbnail, because the Royal Rumble was the beginning of this year, I believe. So I'm going to start doing the Royal Rumble 2023 thumbnail. And then the WrestleMania 39 thumbnail. Go back and do all of the same things over and over again next year. Make my content different. My content is different next year. It'll probably be, who knows. Heck, I may turn over to StreamYard. See what StreamYard has. See what I can do with StreamYard, man. I don't know. I'll see. I'm sticking with Restream for right now. I love this shit, man. I really do. I love what I'm doing. I'm doing a hell of a good job. I really am. But anyways, folks, I'm getting out of here. Stay safe always, and I will see you guys. I will see you guys in the live chat for Friday Night SmackDown and Rampage this Friday night. I'm not doing a WWE and AEW Thursday news live stream tomorrow. So I'm getting out of here. I'll see you guys tonight for Friday Night SmackDown and Rampage. Or not tonight, but this Friday night for SmackDown and AEW Rampage. Let me get out of here because I'm probably going to be done messed around and said the wrong thing again. Stay safe always, y'all. I'll see you guys for Friday SmackDown Rampage Friday night. I'm gone this time. Have a good rest of y'all's Thursday. See you guys later.